Okay, we see the Bally Gold Rush here. This is the last of the Bagatelle games in this 6-game series. The bonus mine is the Bagatelle. You can't see the ball shoot up here. It just drops from the center, and then you can earn 10, 100, or 10 in the Bagatelle feature. Beautiful Western theme art with the, especially the Western ladies and the artwork. You'd see that theme carried down onto the playfield as well. There they are, and that. You see the butyrates actually have great kind of details of the Western theming as well, and the details that you see there. So, beautifully themed Western game. Williams Big Ben, very kind of a basic game from the 70s. This game, much simpler than the games you saw before. Rocket 3, a little bit earlier and from Bally, and not as simple at all. This actually has a progressive feature in the back box that advances through the planets 1 through 9 when you complete spelling out rocket in the playfield, and you do that with these mushroom bumpers at the top or through the advance. So it's a cool way of having a progressive feature, and when you actually get the 9th planet, you would actually win 2 free games. So a lot of incentive to actually do well for the player on Rocket 3. Gottlieb's Big Brave, a kind of a depiction of Native American themes here. Kind of cool to see one that actually has the correct original targets on it. The theme is carried out throughout the playfield of the game. Bally's Knockout. This was, of course, Elvis's pinball machine in his racquetball court right next to it. At least that was the last one he owned. And this is one of the first machines that I played a lot when I was a kid. Has kind of the zigzag feature in the center to kind of give you the idea of a wobbling fighter. At least that's what I thought it was. And then you kind of try to hit those spinners hard as you can so they can get up and wobble your fighter again. And when you do, it'll land in that advanced bonus feature there. So it's definitely a build the bonus game. It's a fairly simple playfield, but a lot of fun to play, and certainly one I enjoyed as a kid and still enjoy it today. This is a rarity. Chicago Coins Astronaut, the only one I've ever seen. One of these kind of games you just don't run across very often. Chicago Coin, in addition to Bally and Williams, were, of course, one of the manufacturers of pinball in this era. And you could see their execution of Astronaut consists of, once again, women astronauts, probably reflecting the predominant market for pinball machines, or at least what they might be interested in more often, according to the pinball manufacturers. And again, that artwork carries down into the playfield of the game. And so, Chicago Coins Astronaut, certainly a rare title. Bally Time Zone. This is a beautiful example of the time zone. It was actually kind of themed off of a TV series originally called Time Tunnel. They sued, and so they had to rename the Space-Time and Time Zone game so that we didn't, or they didn't infringe on that. Has a tunnel light feature that kind of goes down sequentially, and then you can collect the value when you do certain shots in the game. Williams Big Deal, one of the 4-player drop target centric games from Williams in the mid-70s, and fairly straightforward in its layout. Williams Dealer's Choice. This is an interesting game because there are no drop targets at all, and what the play is centered around here is primarily, you can see the rollovers 1 through 9, and then the Ace, King, Queen, Jack 10 targets on the left. This allows you to kind of have to make lots of pretty complex shots, which you can also do with 3 different flippers, and so that makes it kind of fun to try and hit the correct remaining lit rollover from any of the 3 flippers. Really a kind of a shooter's game in terms of target accuracy. Stern Pinball, the end of electromechanical pinballs here for Stern. This was actually made in both a electromechanical and a solid state version. We have the EM here. You'll notice there is 6-digit scoring in the electromechanical version. Of course, the last digit is fixed at 0, but there's actually 5 functional digits there. And this game kind of has this strange theme of a pinball destroying and demolishing people in the streets of Chicago. Chicago comes in for it on a lot of pinball machines. There is no doubt about it. It does here too. That's, of course, because Chicago was the headquarters of a number of the pinball manufacturers then and is today. Bally Wiggler, just one of my very favorite pieces of overall pinball art. I love this purple theme that goes together with the angular artwork, and you can kind of see that come out here, the central Wiggler feature. I love this little chorus that are in the 1, 2, 3, 4 player versions. I have no idea what the thought process was, but pretty cool. This textured color, you're going to see that on the playfield as well when you go down in here. And the butyrates, just a very unusual color scheme and just amazing execution of this theme in this game. And you can kind of see how that art unfolds throughout the playfield. But Bally Wiggler, just one of my favorite games from his series of Pointy People games. Bally Nippet. This is a special Nippet because it retains the actual original Bally Gator. And you can see him down there sneaking out in the bush. And this was changed in the production run. This game was one of the very first games manufactured. As you can see, it's serial 1020. And as such, it had the prototype Gator on it. But the Gator was a little harder to grab the ball than the subsequent Wireform would be, and so it was replaced in the production run. So there you go. Bally Nippet. Williams Big Strike. This is the Add-A-Ball version of Hotline, and this is just a beautiful Big Strike. Great, hilarious kind of artwork in the back box. You can see that you have a hotline, and then you can see the fishing theme is carried out, as well as I love that too. And let's see what's going on over here. Yeah, okay. So there you go. Great rollover game. As you can see, the rollovers form the pattern there. So there's lots of shots that you can make with the flippers. You're always kind of interested because that's always moving around which one you're trying to make in terms of a target. I think this game stands up great through the years in terms of a player's game. Williams Wildcard, the very last single-player electromechanical pinball machine from Williams before the solid-state conversion took place. And you can see this has kind of the Western card-playing theme in it. Some kind of great, artwork there in the playfield, and then butyrates again. And you see the Wildcard theme is carried out into the back box. Just great. Riverboat, I think it's next to Wildcard because it too captures that gambling theme. This is an older game, and this is the first of the reverse wedge heads that you're going to be seeing, and it's kind of nice because it's next to a Gottlieb wedge head. So if you have a reverse wedge head and a wedge head, you can kind of put them together like that. But Williams used the reverse wedge head design for a while in the 60s, and this is one of those games. Again, just you can kind of see the movie star reference, I think, that's being made there. Of course, they didn't license anything, so there would just be an inference, nothing else. And there's the game. You see the steamboat theme carries out, as well as the gambling theme. Gottlieb's Olympics, and this is a very cool wedge head pinball machine. I think this is the first of our wedge heads today. This Olympics is great. It shows you kind of the years of the Olympic Games that had taken place before the Olympics that it commemorated. And you can see how the Olympic theme kind of carries out with some of the sports in the playfield layout as well. There you go. Gottlieb's Flipper. This is the very first Add-A-Ball pinball machine from Gottlieb, and so this was a transition that they were making from their wood rails and into the wedge head design for Gottlieb. And you can see kind of, again, a gambling theme game. Kind of fun to see our magician here, and especially that rabbit. So playfield on this game. Again, these Add-A-Ball games, all you could do was win extra balls. You could not win replays. Gottlieb's Pop-A-Card. This is one of the great series of drop target themed or drop target oriented games from Gottlieb. This is later in the progression of the wedge heads. Has some very cool kind of card themed artwork in the back box. Very striking design. I love the angularity of it and how it captures those playing cards so beautifully. And then carrying out the playing card theme into the playfield. You can see the classic bicycle playing card designs kind of inspired in the middle, and then the jokers on the butyrates on the sides. 2001, one of the very best pinball machines ever made, I think, bar none. Futuristic Gordon Mortensen art, of course, on the back box, but the classic 20 drop target layout in the playfield. You have 2-inch flippers to make them. This machine can definitely knock those off, and it is very impressive to see this. As you make the different colors in the back glass, the cards light up to show the colors having been completed, and that is your objective for the game. Great art, great design, timeless pinball machine. Top card takes this a different direction in terms of being a target-oriented game. Instead of having drop targets, it has regular targets in the playfield, stand-up targets. Again, the playing card themed art in the back box, I think, beautifully done, beautifully executed. And this game plays kind of an interesting way because you're essentially flowing the ball around, you know, the playfield, trying to hit those stand-up targets. And it's kind of impressive how you can get the bounces off the left side and over to the right and hit targets across. It's a fun design, great playfield design. Gottlieb's Gordon Arrow, there's actually two in this auction. The native themed artwork in the back glass and on the playfield, you can see this is definitely less humorous than the big rave treatment here. This is a very, very serious kind of themed Native American art game. A big favorite of mine and a lot of other people's too. All right, here's a very special rarity, the Red Max. This is a Bally game that was only produced in sample quantity, I think 70 if I remember. You can see that this particular game is number 4, 1004. Game started 1001 typically, I believe, or maybe 1000 now. I'm getting older. Anyway, Red Max is actually a super fun game. You're actually trying to complete the letters, the Red Max, and you're doing that as you also have a captured ball to do that with. See the layout of the playfield. Very fun game to play, and certainly one of the rarest games of the auction. Valley Expressway, again, kind of the futuristic art. This is a Christian Marsh game, I believe, and it has the artwork in the kind of futuristic style of the people of the expressway and the cars, and see how that plays out on the playfield. King Rex, another very rare game. This is an add-a-ball version of King Tut. Very rarely seen. This is the only King Rex I've ever seen. And you see it's kind of got the cool angular art in the back box. Oops, I just reset it, but that's all right. And you can see how the Egyptian theme plays out in the playfield as well. On Beam, space-themed game where you have an interesting challenge because you're trying to match the beams in the back box, and so it was kind of a game that was a little bit harder for people to understand, but it's a great fun game and very interesting, good theme. And High Deal, and this is a Bally game that was with the kind of fun artwork that you saw later in the Bally series. The rollovers at the top, and as you can see, the monkey both in the back glass and in the top. So that's our first 40 electromechanical pinball machines, and we will continue on with games 41 as we go on a little bit in this discussion. Hope you enjoyed these videos.